Vince Gill, a country music legend, released one of the best songs ever, making him the most awarded country performer. Despite his fame and achievements, his personal life has been unhappy and difficult. Vince Gill has revealed some devastating news that has impacted his life forever. What specifics devastated him? We'll show you his saddest days before us in this video. Let's explore his outstanding career and how he joined the Eagles. Early Vince Gill's career. Vince Gill was born in Norman, Oklahoma, a little town that would shape his life and singing career on April 12, 1957. J. Stanley Gill. His lawyer father plays music in his leisure time. Vince was inspired by Stanley's love of country and bluegrass music early on. Stanley played his banjo and guitar throughout the home, filling it with his beloved music. Jaren Gill, his mother, never worked. Mom supported the family and encouraged Vince to pursue his aspirations. Vince's older half-brother, Bob Gill, was important in his youth. Bob introduced Vince to many genres of music and helped him develop his taste. Bob gave up the guitar and influenced Vince to learn to play. Vince was drawn to music at a young age, especially guitar and banjo, which his parents adored. Vince was determined to improve as a teenager. He played bluegrass with Mountain, Smoke, and other bands throughout high school. He could combine bluegrass with rock, which was fashionable with this group at the time. Mountain Smoke became popular locally. Vince gained fame as a vocalist. Vince entered many local talent events and music contests in school. This boosted his physical fitness and performance confidence. After finishing, it was obvious it was never. Vince wanted to scale things up, so it wasn't a hobby. In the mid-1970s, Vince Gill moved from Oklahoma to Louisville, Kentucky, after high school. For a young artist learning bluegrass, it was a major step, explained Vince Gill's sudden stardom in his tragic news. Returned to discover out. As a bluegrass singer and honest countryman in the early 1970s, Vince Gill launched a successful solo career. He amazed all. He focused on his work and never looked back. Became famous in 1978 after joining Pure Prairie League, a soft rock band. Vince sang lead for the band from 1978 to 1982. He altered their tone and spurred their growth. In addition to singing lead, he wrote and recorded singles like Let Me Love You Tonight. Pure Prairie League helped him build his singing career and gain stage confidence. Vince joined Rodney Crowell's Cherry Bombs as lead guitarist when Pure Prairie League broke up. His brief time with the Cherry Bombs broadened his musical tastes. Vince was ready for country music independence by 1984. He wanted to write and record music freely. Vince took risks and went solo since he was confident in his abilities. RCA Records Nashville signed him fast and released numerous of his records over the next few years. Early solo attempts were unsuccessful. He was successful yet never gave up. Vince maintained improving his sound and established himself as an expert. MCA Nashville noticed him in 1989, which was wonderful. It will be a career highlight. The label helped Vince rise. The title tune from his 1990 album, When I Call Your Name, was his first smash. After this album broke him into mainstream country music, he rose swiftly in the charts. Vince frequently topped the 1990s Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. 65 songs charted. I Still Believe in You, Don't Let Our Love Slip Away, Trying to Get Over You were 1992 to 1994 #1 hits. These hits made him a country music star. Vince's teamwork helped him succeed. With Reba McEntire, he sang The Heart Won't Lie, another 1993 #1. He also collaborated with Chris Young on Sober Saturday Night and the 2016 All-Star Project. Forever Country, Recording Industry Association of America, said all his 1990s records were hits. Each was platinum or better. U.S. Business Association RIA, his best-selling album is I Still Believe in You, which went 5 times platinum. This makes Vince the most awarded male solo country act in Grammy history with 22 Grammys. He continued his journey. Western Swing. Band Time Jumpers hired him in 2010. What moved him from how to join the big band solo? Let's begin. Vince Gill joined the Eagles when Irving Azoff, their manager, called him. Vince Gill answered the phone calmly, but his heart raced because he didn't know what was significant. Everything changed when Irving told him the Eagles wanted him to join. Vince briefly considered a joke. He was wanted to replace Glenn Frey by the Eagles, one of the best bands ever, and the composers of numerous singles. Frey founded the band and contributed creatively. It was nearly unbelievable. Vince long admired the Eagles. He enjoyed their music changes and voice harmony. Glenn Frey. Vince was requested to succeed an Eagles fan. Thoughts about the news made him wonder why he knew he had the voice and guitar skills to sing harmony with the Eagles. It seemed strange to wear Glenn Frey's shoes a big weight. Glenn was the Eagles' body, not simply a guitarist. Vince doubted he could do it. Vince considered his solo career, which had grown over years of hard labor, popular songs, accolades, and a passionate fan base. Joining the Eagles would entail changing course after a successful solo career, but he couldn't miss out. It was an opportunity to join a legendary band. Their music had captivated him since childhood. Hearing the offer made him excited and scared. He was honored yet anxious about his future. He asked Irving his long-awaited question. "They picked me way." Irving surprised Vince with his response. Don Henley, the Eagles' musical director and founder, chose Vince. Henley believed Vince's performance would show that he cared about the band's history and music. Henley saw Vince's passion. Glenn provided the Eagles. The idea was to preserve the band in Glenn Frey's spirit, not fill a vacancy. Vince recognized this was more than a band invitation. He might start a new chapter and continue his legendary musical legacy. What were some of his Eagles-related hardships and secrets? Turned to discover out. Joining the Eagles was difficult, due to criticism, problems, and adjustments. Big change for Vince Gill. He always had creative control as a solo artist. Picked his music and made big decisions. He had to adjust to a new job with new demands when he joined the Eagles. Glenn's absence was hardest to compensate for. Frey, who founded the band and shaped their sound. Glenn's passing devastated the Eagles because of his speech and style. Vince realized he couldn't replace Glenn, but he wanted to commemorate him and contribute his voice. It was hard work. Vince's longtime fans doubted he could honor Glenn. He felt that weight every time he learned a song or performed. He understood fans had great aspirations for Eagles recruits because the band was traditionally the largest. Vince had to adjust to group work again. After years of working alone, he had to learn to collaborate, share the stage, and maintain the Eagles' sound. He had to balance his identity with the band's past. Vince's first Eagles concert was emotional. No other show was like this. What a historic occasion. Honor and memory treasured by the band's devoted followers. Everyone in the room felt the moment's importance, and Vince played every note with passion. Every band member had a different mentality that hampered teamwork. The Gilloriented Don Henley was a powerful leader. Joe Walsh gave the group a wild, unpredictable energy. Timby Schmidt was pleasant and could solve difficulties. Vince initially watched and learned how the band worked. He saw how each phrase and note was carefully planned in their song. The Eagles' meticulousness made them renowned, but also made things harder. Vince had real moments off stage. Connection with his new pals, full of laughter and stories, made him feel at home. He also sensed the band's terrible past. Vince's voice blended well with the band's. The classic tunes gained vigor while retaining their original vibe. It to the Limit and Tequila Sunrise had a lovely, mellow country tone from his voice, making familiar music sound fresh. Many longtime fans couldn't get enough of Vince's music, which they believed was revitalizing. He played guitar. Fans had mixed reactions when they heard Vince Gill will join the Eagles. Some fans were delighted for the band to start a new period with a famous singer, while others weren't sure who would replace Glenn Frey. For many, it felt odd to believe another artist could play Glenn. Arguments ensued, with sentiments ranging from excitement to uncertainty. Eagles supporters liked Glenn and thought the squad would be different without him. They worried that adding someone, even Vince, would change the band's identity. Social media users talked a lot. not all fans were happy. Others backed Vince's band role. Vince handled criticism nicely and stated that he wasn't replacing Glenn. Instead, he was himself, honored the Eagles' tradition, and brought his skills to the squad. What were his darkest times, and how did he survive? It would soon be known. Internal conflicts and resolution during Vince Gill's, there was a turning point conversations when everything looked hopeless. The band worked hard. They'd been preparing for hours, touring non-stop, and coping with the burden of being a famous band. Expectations were high, and everyone was stressed. Something weird happened during practice one day. The fight began. Over a famous Eagles song, Vince proposed a fresh layout. He believed it would revitalize the piece while preserving its past. Not everyone shared his view. A minor dispute escalated into a battle with harsh words and intense sentiments. He just wanted to make a difference in the band he loved, but his potential collaborators were irritating and hesitant. He was hurt and uncertain after the fight. He originally wondered if he fit with the Eagles. Vince slept alone in his hotel room, wondering about what transpired that night. He worked hard on this Eagles tribute to appreciate their legacy and lend his own voice to their tunes. He was going to quit when something unexpected happened. Vince seemed exhausted from the day's events, so Don Henley recommended they converse alone. Don listened to Vince's issues outside of practice. Vince's work was essential to Don, who said the Eagles were about both the past and how artists change. Vince's life altered after this chat. He departed feeling acknowledged, respected, and more confident in his Eagles membership. As a legendary band member, he was ready for any challenge. How rich is Vince Gill? What other enterprises does he run? Famous musician was involved. We'll notify you when we know. American country singer Vince Gill has a net worth another company. His wealth is $30 million. His 2000 marriage to country singer Amy Grant, and their fortune. The Washington Post and Palm Beach Post called him Nashville's nicest guy because he's constantly smiling and willing to help. Journalist Richard Harrington termed him always friendly, charming, approachable, and egoless. In addition to music, Vince Gill enjoys golf. He founded the Vinny Pro Celebrity Golf Invitational. In 1993, to benefit Tennessee kids' golf initiatives, his dedication of this cause earned him the Distinguished Service Award. The PGA of America honored him in 2003. Gill has helped others too. After the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, he organized a Red Cross benefit event. He supported almost 60 causes, including all 4. The Hall is an annual Country Music Hall of Fame fundraiser. Vince and Amy live in Nashville, Tennessee, where Gill owns a recording studio. His dedication to music and the community is evident. What makes him stand out in his speech and actions? The music business. Return to discover out. Country. Music veteran Vince Gill discusses industry criticism and scandals in a poignant interview. Gill disliked the genre's direction. According to him, country music has lost its elegance. Instead of simple phrases like, "You're hot, I'm hot, we're in a vehicle," songs like "He Stopped Loving Her Today" recount stories that make him long for them. Vince becomes tired of these trends. Gill also worries about music industry trends, especially how changing income sources have affected musicians' incomes, as record sales aren't as high as before. He wonders about what in the future. How do these changes affect artists? Gill wasn't startled when questioned on CBS this morning about country music's Titanium Club, which refers to its closeness and exclusivity. He was upset with the business as a whole, which he felt was unjust and excluded some people. He noted that country music has been studied as, despite the genre's white majority, he believes change is possible. He agreed that women and black singers often feel out of place in country music, just like in other genres. Gill said he was trying to make the firm more inclusive by remembering he didn't know everything. Gill also expressed disappointment and sadness at Morgan Wallen's racial insult issue. Some people supported Wallen by arguing rap music uses strong language, but Gill disagreed. He spoke, because black Americans were raised in a white society, these comments hurt and insult them. He remarked that language still hurts and divides, thus it doesn't belong. Gill also praised Brothers Osborne's T.J. Osborne for coming out as gay. They called it bold and said it could encourage other country performers to address social issues. He also remarked that country music musicians don't have to agree with conservative listeners. Gill believes musicians can utilize their lyrics to challenge the established quo, making the genre more inclusive beyond the stage and acts. Vince Gill's complete personal life? Find out. April 1980 saw Vince Gill marry singer Janice Oliver. Later, Janice Oliver and her sister Christine formed Sweethearts of the Rodeo. Although married, Vince penned songs about his love with Janice, such as Everybody's Sweetheart and The Radio. He and she split in 1997. The couple divorced because they couldn't get along. They divorced after 17 years, and Janice received custody of Jennifer Jenny Gill. Jenny sang on her dad's records, including Let There Be Peace on Earth, continuing her parents' musical journey. According to AllMusic's Steve Huey, Vince's album The Key reflected his feelings over the separation. Vince started seeing Amy Grant in 1999 after she broke up with Gary Chapman. Vince married Amy March 10, 2000. Tom Jurek, an AllMusic author, suggested that several songs on Vince and Amy's new friendship may have influenced Let's Make Sure We Kiss Goodbye. Their daughter Karina Gill was born soon after marriage. She released music online in 2023 under her own label. Amy's July 27, 2022 scare may be familiar to fans. When she was injured while biking with a friend, the press reported that Amy and her friend were biking at Harpeth Hills Golf Course in South Nashville. About 3 p.m. she tumbled off. Emergency personnel rushed her to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Amy was lucky to wear a helmet, which likely prevented further injury. Her status was stable despite numerous wounds and scrapes. Amy thanked her fans on Instagram for their support following the accident and updated them on her recovery. She requested extra time to heal, therefore some tour dates were changed to Knoxville. In June 2023, Chattanooga, Johnson City, and Wilmington were moved to April. On August 4, 2022, Johnny discussed Amy's accident at his Ryman Auditorium residency gig. He told her he was glad she was wearing a helmet. After the fall, she was knocked out for 10 to 15 minutes. Vince told the gathering that bride Amy was healthy, adding that he was grateful. How many more unpleasant things has Vince endured recently? We'll discover. Vince Gill's talk about an online scam and money issues. Vince Gill reported many financial issues. Stock market losses exceed $5 million. His first acquisition was $500,000 Blue Ski Tech in 2021. Big mistake. 22. Gill invested $70,000 in green energy solutions but lost $400,000 due to supply chain issues and business-friendly regulations. He also invested $600,000 in cryptocurrency trade but lost it all. $300,000 during market decline. In late 2021, Gill invested $1 million in Sign World Entertainment and lost $900,000. In early 2023, he invested $80,000 in Home Good Depot. He lost $70,000 when the company failed. A smart online fraud targeted an older Vince Gill fan. Jackie, the deceived woman's daughter, revealed her experience on Scammer Stories. She wanted to know more after seeing her lonely mother acting strangely during Christmas dinner. Jackie spotted a Vince Gill claiming Google conversation on her mom's phone. Since her mother frequently commented on the singer's posts, she thought the con artist located her mom on social media. Jackie and her family tried to dissuade her mother from sending additional money. But it was evident that her mother had been 100% brainwashed into thinking she was in a true relationship with Vince Gill. Her mother had already depleted 3 bank accounts and sought a friend for extra money to support the con artist. Jackie added the con artist's tragic story about Gill's marriage issues made her mother trust the fraud more. Even though police and senior groups were helping her, mother knew what was happening, but their attempts failed. Jackie ultimately begged Gill's PR team for help, but they ignored her. Jackie now manages her mother's money and monitors her spending to prevent her from falling deeper into the fraud. What horrible news has shattered Vince Gill? Find out, Vince Gill missed the 2018 CMA Awards due to a kidney stone hospital stay.